Primetime Deion Sanders is one of the greatest athletes of all time, along with playing multiple positions in the NFL, excelling at cornerback, where he established himself as arguably the best ever to play the position. He also played professional baseball in the MLB, becoming one of the few athletes in history to participate in two of the most competitive sports leagues in the world. Today, we will break down and focus on Deion's football journey from high school to his college recruitment, his excellent college career, what scouts thought of him coming into the draft, and how he fared on draft night, his NFL career, and his most legendary moments in the league to answer the overarching question of how good was Deion Sanders actually. Deion Lewin Sanders was born August 9, 1967 in Fort Myers, Florida to Connie Sanders and Mim Sanders. His parents filed for divorce when Sanders was just 2 years old. Deion was raised by his mother and her new husband, Willie Knight, whom Sanders credits with being influential in his life. Deion was one of the most talented athletes in Florida high school history. It was reported that he jumped so high that he cut his eyebrow on the rim of a basketball hoop. Sanders would attend North Fort Myers and played football, baseball, track, and baseball, earning all-state honors in football, basketball, and baseball. Along with being a standout talent as a defensive back, Sanders would also serve as the team's quarterback. Following his high school career, he would go on to be named to the Florida High School Association All-Century team, naming him as one of the top 33 players in the past 100 years of Florida high school football. Along with this, he would be drafted by the Kansas City Royals in the 6th round of the 1985 MLB draft. However, he turned down signing with the team to pursue football. Due to Sanders' undeniable athletic abilities, he was one of the most sought-after recruits in this class. He had the top programs around the nation drooling over what he could bring to their team. However, he ended up committing to Florida State for a very simple reason. He wanted to remain close to home and near his mother. However, the Seminoles had their eyes on Sanders for almost a decade. Their coaching staff was made aware of him when one of their boosters saw him at a Pop Warner game when Sanders was only 9 years old. Later on, when assistant coach Bob Harbison saw him cut his eyebrow on the rim of a basketball hoop, he immediately canceled all of his following visits to scout Deion so other schools would ideally remain in the dark about this generational talent. Before he joined the team, Florida State rarely, if ever, gave a freshman the honor of starting. However, when asked what they would do with Deion, Walter Grace, the booster who first made the program aware of him, was quoted as saying he didn't like starting freshmen, but he was going to have to figure out a way to start Deion. As a result of Deion playing his collegiate career in the late 1980s, many of his stats like pass breakups would be lost to time as they were not recorded in those days. However, he thrived as one of, if not the best cornerback and return man in college football. He got the starting nod in his freshman season and would not let his team down. He returned 30 kicks for 255 yards and a touchdown. Along with this, he would also record a 100-yard pick six. The following season, he would return 32 kicks for 316 yards. At corner, he picked off 4 passes for a collective 29 return yards. In his junior year at Florida State, Sanders returned 32 punts for 381 yards and a touchdown. He would once again record 4 interceptions, this time for 42 return yards. In his final collegiate season, Sanders had his best year yet as a return man, gaining 503 yards and a touchdown on 33 punt returns. Along with this, he would also have his best year at cornerback, recording 5 interceptions for 116 yards. 2 of those interceptions being pick sixes. Sanders would be named as an All-American twice in his 4 years with the Seminoles. After proving himself as one of the top talents in all of college football, Deion continued to turn heads at the combine. At the time, there was not the laser technology we have today to get hyper-specific 40-yard dash times, and as a result of this, Sanders' time was estimated to be between 4.21 seconds and 4.27 seconds, both of which were some of the top 40 times in recorded history. He would not have to wait long for his name to be called on draft night, with only Troy Aikman, Tony Maderick, Barry Sanders, and Derek Thomas being selected in front of him. With the 5th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons chose Sanders. Sanders played left and center field with the New York Yankees, the Atlanta Braves, the Cincinnati Reds, and the San Francisco Giants during his 9-year baseball career. One notable moment in his baseball career took place on July 31st, the 1991 season. Sanders hit a pivotal 3-run homer to spark a comeback win against the Pittsburgh Pirates during the Braves' run to the National League West Division title. However, because of a clause in his NFL contract, he had to leave the Braves the next day to report to the Atlanta Falcons, resulting in him missing the Braves' postseason. We can make another video that focuses on Deion's career in baseball, but for this one, we'll keep on football. Deion would have a very successful rookie season, picking off 5 passes and forcing 2 fumbles. Along with this, he returned 63 kicks for 1,032 yards and a touchdown. However, this would not lead to much team success as the Falcons missed the postseason with a 3-13 record. More of the same would occur in the 1990 season. However, Sanders and the Falcons would both break out in the 1991 season. That year, Sanders would record 6 interceptions, 1 pick six, 2 forced fumbles, 1 sack, 746 return yards, and a 1 return touchdown. This would be enough to earn him his first All-Pro and Pro Bowl nod. Atlanta would finish the season with a 10-6 record and earn their first postseason berth with Sanders on the roster. They would make it to the divisional round but fell to the Washington Redskins by a final score of 7-24. Through their postseason run, Deion had 1 interception and 157 return yards. Despite remaining with the team for 2 more seasons, they would miss the postseason both years. In the offseason leading up to the 1994 season, Sanders would shock the NFL world and sign a 1-year, $1.2 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers, instantly making them Super Bowl favorites. With the 49ers, Sanders would have the best season of his career. He recorded 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards, made the All-Pro team, and was also named to the Pro Bowl. With the addition of Sanders, the 49ers would cruise to a 13-3 record. They would go on a dominant tear throughout the postseason, winning each game by double digits and culminating in a 49-26 win over the San Diego Chargers in the Super Bowl. Through the playoffs, Sanders picked off 2 passes and made 6 tackles. After not receiving a contract offer from San Francisco in the offseason following their Super Bowl, Deion would join the Dallas Cowboys, where he once again would have an instant impact on the team. In the shortened season due to a lockout, Sanders still managed to record 2 interceptions and 26 tackles. In the postseason, he added on an additional 1 interception and 3 tackles en route to his 2nd consecutive Super Bowl. This time coming against the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Dallas coming out with a 27-17 win. This would be the final Super Bowl run during his time with the Cowboys. Over the following 4 seasons, Sanders would record 12 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, 6 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovered for a touchdown, 123 tackles, and 3 tackles for a loss in the regular season. Dallas would make the playoffs 3 times over this 4-year run, missing the postseason in 1997. Over this stretch, Sanders intercepted 2 passes, defended 1 pass, and made 8 tackles. Sanders would begin the 2000s with a new team, joining the Washington Redskins. This team would not have an incredible offensive unit, but had a defense that featured Sanders, Champ Bailey, and Bruce Smith, all of which would go on to be Hall of Famers. They managed to finish the regular season with an 8-8 record. However, they would miss the playoffs. He would record an impressive 4 interceptions, 9 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, and 41 tackles. However, following the season, Sanders would announce his retirement. The retirement would last for 3 seasons before he made a return to the league with the Baltimore Ravens. He would play 2 years with Baltimore, hitting a remarkable age of 38 in his final year with the team. Over that time, he proved that he still had what it took to earn a roster spot, recording 5 interceptions, 10 passes defended, 30 tackles, and 1 tackle for loss despite only starting a combined 6 games. Following the 2005 season, Sanders would retire for a 2nd and final time. Arguably the most legendary moment of Sanders' career came when he won his Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. It cemented him as one of the few players in NFL history to ever win a Super Bowl in consecutive years on different teams. This proved that no matter where Deion went, as long as there was a competent offense, he could lead a defense to a Super Bowl. Another legendary moment came in Sanders' first game as a return man. As previously mentioned, he was one of the most dangerous at the position in college. However, to have that ability translate to the NFL is a tall task for most. But not for Sanders, who returned the first punt return of his career for a 68-yard touchdown. Deion would retire as one of the most decorated cornerbacks in NFL history. He was named to the Pro Bowl 8 times, the All-Pro team 6 times, won 2 Super Bowl titles, the 1994 Defensive Player of the Year award, was named to the Hall of Fame All-1990s team twice, once as a return man and once as a cornerback, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. Over his 14 years in the league, he recorded 53 interceptions, 9 pick sixes, 25 passes defended, 10 forced fumbles, 1 fumble returned for a touchdown, 512 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 2,199 punt return yards, 6 punt return touchdowns, 3,523 kick return yards, 3 kick return touchdowns, 60 receptions, 784 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. He currently ranks 2nd all-time in non-offensive touchdowns, 91st in kick return yards, 31st in kick return touchdowns, 33rd in punt return yards, 9th in punt return touchdowns, 24th in interceptions, 4th in interception return yards, and 5th in interception return touchdowns. With Deion still playing at a high level even at the age of 38, his greatness is undeniable. It's impossible to have a conversation of the best cornerbacks of all time and his name not come up, and this is for a good reason. He was a player that could do almost anything on a football field, and on top of this, was one of the best players in coverage that the game has ever seen. How would you rank the best corners of all time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching The Halftime Show.